Hi, it's Jordan and Alex here with Dwell Realty Group, and we are looking at market reports for September. So we have here the two up with the August and September. And for those who don't know, what we're going to be looking at is absorption rate. Can you explain briefly what absorption rate is?
Yeah, absolutely. So absorption rate is how quickly we would absorb through the current inventory. An even market, not buyer, not seller, is 6 months. So you can see in 1.4 months, if we stopped listing houses, we would have no inventory. So it's very much still a seller's market. Buyers, beware that they are still in the seat. You can also see that, I think, by looking at the list to sale ratio is another good indicator. See, a lot of them are at 100% or a little bit even over. So if the house comes on the market, it's priced right, it's going to sell for more. You're still going to be in competition as a buyer.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial if it's priced right, because I have to admit, even I have fallen into the trap of seeing a few houses get price reduced, and I think, here it is, we're going to be stagnant for a while now. Then I get the market report and realize, oh, the few that stick around you don't see the several that sold.
Yeah.
Seeing data is very helpful for me, because that's where your actual observation day to day can potentially be misleading, because you might see two houses in your neighborhood that are just got price reduced, but if you missed the last 3 weeks of houses that sold and there were even 2 or 3 in there, it looks like, things aren't selling. I think that's an interesting aspect to this. This number, with my day-to-day experience, I don't see it the same as at a month glance. So I really like being able to see this. And just comparing August to September, we're still in the red hot market. Literally, it's followed the same color pattern with orange, a couple oranges at the bottom, but otherwise it's all red.
Yeah, with interest rates rising, we're all wondering when the inventory is going to start to come up and really affect those home prices. But looking at this data, like you mentioned, even month to month, they're both at 1.4. I don't see this changing anytime soon. The Feds have claimed that there will be another interest rate hike coming.
Yeah.
I think market rate today for a 30-year interest rate was right at that 6%. So that has been stagnant for about the last month or so, but I do expect that to increase. If the Feds do come in and raise interest rates, that more than likely will increase.
A few years ago, you could do fixed. Now you can only do variable rates. So I've become very comfortable with it. So for me, that's an opportunity. I will buy a house at a variable rate because my closing costs are almost nothing, right? Or very low. And then I will wait it out because I know they're telling me, they're literally announcing to us that they're going to raise the interest rates, and then they're going to ease off once we bring inflation under control. So it's a unique opportunity, I feel.
Does it worry you, Jordan, if interest rates go up so high that your variable rate would be at a point where it wouldn't make sense to have it anymore?
A couple things there. You could protect yourself a little bit with a 5-1, right? So you're locked in at 5 years. That's great. Still costs you almost nothing. If you do a 1-1, let's say you did want to do a 1-1 and it would change next year, to me, even if I did that, I wouldn't be as concerned knowing that I'm thinking long-term here, because at the end of it all, even if my prices increase for a season, for a year, I know where the market's going. They've literally announced and broadcast to us where it's going. So what I would do is avoid that with a 3-1 or a 5-1. I've still been doing 1-1s on investment properties, but we have kind of teetered and considered 3-1s just to mitigate some variable, but of course you get a better rate right away with the 1-1.
Sure. And a lot of them do have that caveat where they only will raise it 2% over what you originally signed up for. So there is some protection there as well.
You see
and
all
eventually the interest rates will have to come back down on the backside when they are able to curb this inflation. So.
Yeah. Do you have an answer to that question that you asked?
I think what makes me feel comfortable is that kind of usually that 2% top end where you know that you're not gonna, if it goes up more than 2%, I can usually wait that out for a couple of years, let the interest rates come back down, and then catch it on the downside.
People talk about a lot of different ways, and the truth is we don't know where the market's gonna go. No one knows for sure. But you know that the market always does this, and it's trending upwards. So for me, fear of recession from some people, that's not a fear. It's not a concern, because then that means my interest rates are really low. And for an investor, it's like, well, great, I'll get really cheap loans. So, but if there's no recession and the market keeps booming, well, that's great too. That means all my properties. So there's not a scenario that
it's tough to lose.
Yeah, it is.
Last spring when things were really crazy, that bottom number, the market total was, at 0.3, 0.4. We saw this spring. So, you can say, well, it's doubled, but it's still very much a seller's market, and we're still seeing the average market price of the sale of the homes going up as well.
As investors, I'm happy about a more balanced market, because it's a struggle to get as an investor or a first time, especially as a first time home buyer, it's harder to get in on a house without making all these concessions that you may not be comfortable with. So I am excited for a more balanced market that I think we will get closer to during this time, but I don't think it's gonna switch to a 6-month inventory. There's not enough inventory. We were talking before, we haven't seen since 2008 an oversupply, and it's supposed to happen about every 7 years.
Yep.
So we're still way off that oversupply, and the cost to build now has got very expensive.
Materials, labor, we don't see that coming down anytime soon.
As always, this is a time just like any other. When is the best time to buy? Now. It always is, because you're getting the property now at that price. Even if there's a little volatility in the short term, you're always gonna come out way ahead, and you had a place to live, right?
Yeah,
So that's just the instead of paying rent to someone else.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching today. If you have any more questions about market reports or any questions about buying, selling, or investing, you can check us out at dwellrochester.com.